right, we're going to tell you about these labels, guys. We're live on the Captain's Log. Dr. Dollar's sick and tired of these fancy ingredients on the back of all these packages. Tricking everybody. It's trickery, Doc.
Absolutely. Absolutely trickery. You know, Captain Brian, overall, when you look at the front of packaging and you see claims of healthiness.
Yeah. Like this
normally
all-natural Peter Pan,
right,
creamy peanut butter.
Right. Or this one, it's called Nature Valley.
You know what I think of this? You know what I think of this?
Roasted Crunch. All natural, all this stuff. So anything in the front, if they claim on the front of the packaging that it's healthy, that it's good for you, don't buy that. You have to look at the back, okay?
Yeah, what they say on the front means nothing. That's all advertising,
marketing,
and
absolutely.
promotions. That has nothing to do with your health or ingredients or actually what's inside the package.
Absolutely. There's no law whatsoever to prohibit them from writing whatever they want in the front, as long as there is minutiae amount of truth to that. For example, the word, you know, and we'll go over multigrain, or the word organic. The word organic does not mean healthy. Or the word healthy. What does that mean, healthy?
Right. It's to whoever decides it's
correct.
healthy.
Or the fruit inside. What does that mean? How much fruit inside? So today we'll talk about...
They waive the fruit essence. The essence of fruit.
Just the odor of that fruit. So today we're going to talk about what to look for when you look at the label. What is the most important thing? And then at the end of the podcast, Captain Brian, we'll go over things that people think are food and are really not food. Okay, but let's leave it for the end. So again, the most important thing is don't look at the front, look at the back. So what are some of the... I want to go over some of the things that I went over yesterday in the cabinet and today in my office of what we have there.
Oh, you did a little investigation.
A little investigation.
Wow,
so
a little background research.
The word light, and each one of them I searched legally what is allowed for the manufacturer to write. Captain Brian, when they put light on something, for example, light beer or light anything, what does that mean? Do you know? That this has reduced fat overall, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't have high sugar.
Right. Okay. It just means that there's less fat than the original, right?
Correct. Than the original. Doesn't mean more than that. And the word light normally means it's watered down. For example, light beer is watered down beer.
Yeah.
For example, light peanut butter, it's watered down peanut butter. So overall, most people that have light something, even in cigarette, as you know, obviously we're against cigarette, light cigarette, people are going to smoke a little bit more cigarettes.
Right, because they're not fulfilling themselves.
That's correct.
You're not getting as much.
The same with peanut butter. It's light. You're going to have, instead of 1 tablespoon, you're going to have 2 tablespoons. Yeah. And at the end, you had more than the
light
original.
Margarine? How about light? How bad? That can't get any worse.
Doesn't get any worse than that. So there's no such a thing as margarine. It's a fake food, of course. You should never ever eat. Okay. The word multigrain. I looked in the freezer. We had a loaf of bread. It said multigrain. Multigrain means more than 1 grain, and it's completely meaningless. The word whole grain is something that you have to look for. Whole grain is good.
See, multigrain just means there's a bunch of different grains in there.
More than 1 grain.
Yeah,
if you have 2 grain, multigrain.
Yeah.
But whole grain is something that is good for you. Okay, whole grain. The word natural. The word natural is as fake as it gets. We just show you 2 items that are natural. Has nothing. That means that the original things came from nature. For example, sugar originally, or rice.
Soybeans.
Rice Krispie says all natural Rice Krispie. So originally there was rice, but at the end there's no rice.
There's nothing.
Nothing resembles rice.
Nothing.
You cannot bring it back to rice. The word organic, another trick that a lot of people, everybody wants to buy organic. Organic is not equal to healthy. A lot of processed food, it says organic, but it's still bad for you. So the word organic and healthy. The next one is no added sugar. So a lot of things have plenty of their own sugar. So you know, you have apple cake with full of sugar. So natural sugar also is still sugar. Low calorie. The word low calorie, and you see that on peanut butter, low calorie, that means 1/3 less calorie than the original that they have.
That's it. Doesn't matter if it's 1,000 calories.
Correct.
If you have 750.
And the low calorie may be less than what other brand normal calorie is.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is low fat. Again, we talked about that initially. Low carb.
Wait, so let me get this back to our listeners. So low calorie, it's not low calorie against other brands.
No,
it's your own brand.
Your own brand.
So if I come out with a freaking tonic
Yes.
that has 1,000 grams of sugar.
Yes.
My next one, I can come out with is low calorie because it has
one third
less.
Correct. That's the law.
Still could be 10 times more than the next guy.
Correct. That's absolutely
That's a
correct.
scam.
That's absolutely correct. And again, a lot of people now are looking for, oh, I want gluten-free. Again, the word gluten-free does not mean good for you.
I agree with this.
Completely.
I also agree with the plant-based. If you're eating all plant-based, how much of that stuff is processed 1,000 times?
That's right.
To turn that corn into turkey.
Or the cheese
Come
to
on.
taste like cheese.
Right.
I mean, what are we doing
There's
here?
no way that that's healthier than eating something else. Sometimes.
I agree.
Maybe you're not going to eat extra sharp provolone the whole wheel, but I'm saying, but I still don't think that it's good for you to eat a plant-based cheese.
I agreed completely. Processed cheese is processed cheese. Whether it's fake cheese or real cheese, it's bad for you. That's processed to begin with. The next one that I saw on a bottle was fruit flavored. That's like
fruit flavored. Yeah,
flavored.
Of course.
So it's obviously there's no fruit in it. It's fruit flavor.
No, it's just the flavor of fruit. So they create.
It's made in a lab. It has nothing to resemble.
I think my parents fall for a lot of these, though.
A lot of people.
A lot of people fall.
I'm sure everybody, myself including, felt for that because again, it's marketing. Where they put in the supermarket,
and then they use the browns and the tans,
absolutely,
and all
the colors.
natural,
Correct,
and they make it
correct.
look organic and
Correct.
greens and.
So, Captain Brian, when let's say you look at peanut butter and you turn the can around, what do you look in when you look at the label? What you should look at?
Well, I look at all the ingredients in there.
Wow.
Why
Captain
do I
Brian,
look at the ingredients?
I love
because
it.
I am soy intolerant. I am allergic to soy.
Okay.
And everything that pretty much is manufactured or packaged has soy, one type of derived soybean oil, soybean lecithin, soybean something.
Sure.
And it's deadly. It's toxic to me. I hate it. It closes my throat up, but it's killing people.
Sure. So I look at the ingredient list also. I don't look at, how they have the label. At the bottom, they have in very, very small letters that you can barely see. As a matter of fact, many times I have to take a picture and then what it contains. Because by law, they have to put it in a list of descending order by weight. So you have to, for example, a peanut butter, right, should contain only peanuts.
Right. Nuts.
Only peanuts.
That's it.
That's it. Nuts, peanuts.
Whatever the nuts is, cashew, whatever.
Look at this one. Has 5 different ingredients, including.
You're gonna have to help me, Doc.
I'll get it.
I can't reach back there.
It's very small, but I read it before we started the podcast, and it says peanuts was the first one, but then sugar and some colors
and
some oil, correct, and then some oil. So unnecessary. You want peanut butter, it should contain only peanuts. And there are peanut butter that contain only peanut. You can make it yourself.
You go into Whole Foods, you grab the peanuts, you pour them in a thing,
absolutely,
and you make it.
And that's natural, that's good for you, that's healthy.
The only difference is it separates after time. And so people think that because the oil from the nut and the protein, they will separate. You just stir it back up.
Absolutely.
It's the same damn thing.
And the fact that it separates, that tells you it's healthy. You understand that?
The reason why they put half that stuff in there is so it doesn't separate. So it looks like the peanut butter that you're always used to seeing.
Correct.
That's right.
Which
is fake.
The fake peanut butter they're used to seeing. Correct. Yeah. Completely fake. So another thing you have to look at, and there are certain artificial colors, in the food industry.
Red dye number 8, number 10.
Red dye number 40 is the worst. The worst. Nothing worse than that. So blue dye number 1, yellow dye number 5, carmine. All these things are really, really, really bad for you. Overall, all these food colorings are bad for you.
What do you think about, so they say that red dye number 40 is also leads to ADD.
Yes. Again, there's no, and I read some articles about that. And I'm not sure if that's the case or not. And I don't want to go. I know ADD. We should do a podcast about ADD.
We should.
Because
and
ADD,
that day I won't take my pill. And I'll go.
He's going to be on fire.
I'll go off on this podcast.
This is Captain Brian on the pill. On the pill. I mean, without the pill, oh my God,
Forget
it's
about
all
it.
over the place.
Forget
about it. Forget about it. Yeah. So we'll do a whole podcast about that. So artificial preservatives. These are things. artificial sweeteners, obviously all artificial aspartame, you know, the sugar, the saccharin, hydrogenated oil, all these things are really, really bad for you. So again, instead of looking at, you know, number of calories, what, where, when, look at the ingredient list. So the best things,
a good way to determine whether you should eat the product is if you read the label and there's stuff in there that, first of all, you can't pronounce or you never heard of,
right,
then you shouldn't eat it.
You're absolutely right.
What do you think?
So I completely agree with that. If you read, if the label has more than 1, 2, 3, 4 products, and some of them you cannot pronounce completely, you should not eat it. So overall, Captain Brian, things that are very, very good for you have no label on them.
Because it's just a banana.
It's a banana.
What's
it's
in
avocado.
It's a banana.
There's nothing else. Right. So it's a banana. So it's an avocado. It's a cauliflower. It's a chicken. It's fish. None of them have label on them. So all the things that you buy in the supermarket, in the periphery, on the wall side, around, has no labels on them. Anything in the middle.
And you explain to us why you say in the periphery, on the outside.
On the outside.
I know why.
Why?
But it's right because everything on the outside is refrigeration.
Correct.
And those are all your main staples, your proteins, your fruits, your vegetables, etc.
Right.
It's the stuff when they get you in the inside of those aisles.
Right.
One, you're spending more money.
Absolutely.
And two, you're buying stuff that isn't good for you anyway.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They want you to go into the middle.
That's what they want.
That's where they buy.
That's where they
make the money. They don't make the money on eggs.
Flour and rice and turn it into Doritos and Fritos.
Correct.
And charge you $8.
That's correct. Oh, the pancakes, you know, that they charge you $8 for a pancake that it's, you know, microwave pancakes.
Yeah.
I mean, really? I mean, the flours and there's nothing there in the microwave. I love that blueberry flavor, you know, blueberry flavor. There are no blueberries. We know the price of blueberries. Blueberries cost $4 for a box. You think they will sell it for you for 99 cents? There are no blueberries in there.
Right, exactly.
You know that. Yeah. I mean, there are no blueberries. It's all fake blueberries. It's made in a lab.
And is it just in America or is it other countries as well? Because I feel like we have been taught that cherry is red. Red is cherry flavor.
Yes.
Purple is blueberry or grape, right?
Right.
But these are all fake.
All fake.
There's no way.
Correct.
Right. When's the last time you cut a bunch of cherries up and made fluorescent red, you know, juice?
Never.
It doesn't happen.
Does not happen.
No.
No. All fake. But also in other countries. Now, you know, America is leading the way into that plastic generation. You know, we invent all this stuff and they go to other world. The entire world is using that now. But again, this podcast is to go back to nature, go back to healthy habits, go back to wholesome food.
Let's say hi to some listeners and people watching us. Sandy, Maria, what's going on? Ada, how are you? Thanks for watching the Captain's Log. Who's that just came on? Stacy, thank you for watching. Dr. Dahl is telling us how to read the labels on the back of products that you're eating, because this is definitely something that we need to know. We need to understand that a majority of it is not right.
Correct.
Right? It's a scam. That they're trying to convince the general public that what we're eating is going to be good for you, even though what you're eating with all those ingredients on the back is garbage.
Correct.
But they fake you out by great promotions and marketing.
Right. Absolutely. So, Captain Brian, I do want to talk
what
about... What
else? I want to know this stuff.
So, again, we went over the most important thing is the ingredient list. Read the ingredient list. It will always come in the order of what's more in weight.
So in other words, if you have... let's just say, if you're making a milkshake,
yes,
right? The first ingredient should be milk and then maybe vanilla ice cream, because the most part of it is going to be milk.
Correct.
Right? The second they put ice cream. The third thing, maybe the nuts or whatever.
Correct.
The flip. So it goes in order of how much of that product is inside that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So we understand. So the last thing on the very bottom could be just a minute portion.
I know, but even minute of bad things we want to avoid. So again, as Captain Brian said, if you cannot pronounce it, don't put it in your mouth.
Right.
I mean, all these things that you cannot pronounce are not good for you, and they are going to try to trick you. You know, MSG. We all know
monosodium glutamate, right?
Glutamate, right? Glutamate. Disgusting. But MSG has different names. So if you Google MSG, they will put the other names. They
trick you.
They
do the same thing with soy.
Yeah.
They do it. They use vegetable oil. They do vegetable.
Yeah.
They call it vegetable other products instead of soybean.
Right. But again, go back to
They use
nature,
all
go
those
back
names.
to wholesome food, goes back to making your own stuff. You want to make pancakes, make your own pancakes. You know, you want to make ice cream, you know, it's a treat. Make your own ice cream.
Yeah, it's beautiful too. It's delicious.
Delicious. Amazing.
And speaking of ice cream, I do have one that's very good.
Okay.
The Publix Green Wise has like 4 ingredients in it.
Okay.
That's it.
Yes.
There's nothing in it.
Love it.
Literally.
Love it. I like Green Wise at Publix. Most of the Green Wise stuff is
but
good.
their
Very
Publix
good.
Green Wise ice cream, if you're going to have it, I do it all the time because they don't put soy at all in it. And almost every ice cream in the market, from Ben & Jerry's to Kerwin's or whatever, Kilwin's, the most expensive, they all have soy in them because they use oil to make it smooth on the palate.
Yeah.
And it kills you.
Captain Brian, you know what's the most common ingredient that you find in most household refrigerator that is really, really bad for you? Processed cheese.
Oh, like a
Processed
Kraft
cheese.
American cheese?
There's
That
no cheese in it. You understand that?
It's
it's not cheese.
Yeah.
You understand that?
Yeah,
it's all fake.
Yeah.
It's
so
all
that's the worst.
Oils,
That's one of the
oils
worst.
and fillers and everything else. There's no cheese in it whatsoever. You know, overall, if you decide to have cheese, I don't eat
But
too
if
much
you read
cheese.
the package, they put whole milk. What do they do with the milk? They wave the bottle over the top?
I don't know how.
But they say whole milk
So
cheese, Kraft.
you know, some of the cheese is sitting on the aisle in the supermarket that does not need
Not even
refrigeration.
refrigerated.
So how can it be?
Yeah.
You explain that to me.
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
Correct.
So that does not make any
So
sense
the
whatsoever.
cheese is no good.
Correct. And
What about like these aged Parmesan Reggianos, like the Italian stuff, like the imported?
I can do that.
The harder the cheese, the better for you, right?
The stinkier the cheese, the better for you.
Yeah, the stinkier.
Yeah, the stinkier, the better for you. What else do you find in somebody's cabinet? Maple syrup that is not maple syrup.
Oh,
you
Mrs.
know
Butterworth's.
You know what's good maple syrup.
If
You're from Massachusetts.
Yeah,
you know what's real maple syrup.
If you're not spending $20 plus a bottle,
right.
And probably more. I just bought a bottle for $50.
Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
bought a bottle for $50 the other day.
That's Captain Brian plus. I mean, that's high roller and everything
Well,
else.
it was actually it was pure maple syrup
Sure.
from Vermont, and then it was aged in wine barrels.
Here you go.
So it's delicious. All right, but it's $50.
Yeah.
You can't get a Mrs. Butterworth's bottle
Correct.
for $2.10 and think that it's anything but high fructose corn syrup.
Correct. There's no whatsoever maple syrup on that.
None.
It's none whatsoever.
No,
not even
not
1%.
even a maple
Not
tree.
even-
Didn't even drive by one on the way.
No, it wasn't. It's made in Mississippi. They don't have maple trees there. Impossible.
Exactly.
Impossible. So you see that a lot. The other one that you see in a lot of cabinets is instant mashed potatoes.
Oh my God! Instant mashed potatoes.
It wasn't even sitting next to a potato. It wasn't in Idaho. It was far away from
So
the
how
whole
do they
world.
get away with saying 100% real potato? Because some products are freeze dried, right?
Yes.
They actually.
So if initially there was something there on the front, again, in the front of they
they
can
use
put
the
it
skins.
marketing.
They
can say if
they
there is,
peeled the potato.
if it's set next to it, they can say it. But if you flip again the back and you see what is the first ingredient, sugar.
I will tell you
yes.
that I have purchased the store-bought pre-made mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Have you seen those?
No.
Try reading those ingredients. One day I flipped my lid, threw them away. There's literally 17 ingredients. I make mashed potatoes. Okay, butter.
Yes.
Milk or cream.
Yes.
Salt and pepper and potatoes.
That's it.
I don't know what else you put in there. Maybe some garlic.
Yes.
Maybe cheese if you're having a good day.
All
You want to go a little
natural
crazy.
stuff. All natural.
That's it.
Yeah.
So why is there 17 ingredients?
Yeah. All the emulsifiers they put, all the flavoring, all the trans fat, all the preservatives, of course.
Oh my God!
Because it has to last for 17 years on the shelf.
And if you know anything about potatoes, the minute you peel potatoes, they start turning brown.
Right.
How do they keep mashed potatoes on the shelf for 6 months?
Right.
Right. With a 4-month expiration date.
Right.
You can't.
Right. The other thing that we see a lot is egg substitution. You know, egg substitution. So eggs should have one ingredient. Eggs. That's it. I mean, the moment it has more than one ingredient, it's like peanut butter. It should have one peanuts. The egg substitution.
So the scramblers, the ones that come in the cartons, all that pre-done, that all has
preservatives.
An ingredient in there to keep it from. What is the thing? I can't think of the name of the damn ingredient, but there's one separate ingredient in there that they all have, Isn't it almost like formaldehyde that they use in there that keeps it?
Almost like similar to formalin.
Yeah.
That they keep it. It's not formalin, of course. Formalin is a carcinogen, as you know. I mean, you should never ever have formalin. But you know, the other one is caramel syrup. You know, caramel syrup is another thing.
Oh yeah, caramel flavor.
Caramel flavor.
How do you get caramel? You take sugar.
That's right.
You burn it to a certain temperature and you melt it down, and it turns to caramel.
Right.
There's only one thing in it. That's it.
That's it.
So why do they have 75 ingredients in caramel?
Right.
We shouldn't eat caramel though anyway, should we?
No, I
Is it not doing anything good for us?
I don't even like it.
The only time you should eat caramel is if you're having
sex.
Yes, I didn't want to say that, but if you have caramel, you drizzle. Maybe you want to do something fun with it, entertainment.
Maybe have like some type of a flavor of caramel with a little bit. What else? Oysters? No, it doesn't go.
You don't
put
caramel in oysters. This guy's getting. Doc, you're not going to get no brownie points with that.
Maybe I don't know.
Maybe some
a candle.
Nice caramels with some strawberries or some
salted caramel candle.
Yeah.
And then you pour the candle wax.
Yeah, nice.
Over. That's nice. Now you're talking. Now I'm talking.
I like this. I can work with that.
I like
but the oysters with the caramel.
No,
I don't
doesn't
think
go.
at the end of the day I'm gonna get what I achieve what I'm looking for.
No.
You know, with those two combinations.
Not at all. Not at all.
Guys, you're watching the Captain's Log. Dr. Dollar, he's getting a little out of hand over here. He's telling me anything this guy wants oysters. They're all about oysters all of a sudden now. Wait, are we done with this topic?
We're done.
We are done, guys. Listen, I hope you enjoyed that topic. We try to make it fun. Dr. Dollar comes with all this knowledge. Sometimes I sidetrack him, but we always seem like we have a good time. We try to get the knowledge over to you guys. You know, John sent us a message, a DM. This is totally off the cuff. Maybe you have the answer. Did you see the fight where the boxer licked the blood?
I did.
And the guy, he said, can you talk about what happens when you lick blood?
Yeah. So, rule number one, don't do it. Rule number one, there's only one rule.
I'll answer your question, John. Here we go.
3, you don't do it. You'd never, ever. So the only time I would lick blood is if it's my own kid's blood. You know, when my kids were younger
and they kissing a boo-boo.
I'm kissing a boo-boo. I would do it. It's my own blood. I feel like it's okay. But you should never, ever.
What risk does that guy at right now?
So most likely is okay. Most likely is okay because this guy is probably higher risk than the guy he. So I think the guy that they.
So then I'm okay no matter
what. They're both okay
okay
because they're high risk, both of them. But overall, you should never ever do that. You have pathogens. Bad things can happen. Don't ever lick somebody else.
John, we talked about doing the whole podcast on it, but we figured that it wasn't going to be enough information to get a good 15-20 minute episode. But thank you for the question. If you guys DM your questions to myself or Dr. Dollar, your Instagram is
Dollar MD.
Dollar MD. That's DALLER.
That's right.
MD. And that's on the gram, people. You can DM him. He's very quick. Matter of fact, I don't get half the time how you're with patients.
Amazing.
This guy sees patients from 5 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
And I don't even carry my phone on me.
You don't?
No.
Well, how come when I message you,
when I see patients, when I go to a room, I don't have phone in the room, regular phone, landline phone. I don't have my cell phone. I don't have anything with me. I'm 100% with my patients. I think it would be rude if my phone rang.
Right.
Or if I have anything.
I agree. And then I'm like, damn, he messaged me
always
so quick.
One of my employees has my phone.
Oh, so I'm never talking to you.
Right.
I'm never talking. So that's what it is. You don't really want to talk to me.
It's an extension. It's an extension.
It's an extension of your personality.
That's correct.
That's how they do it.
That's
they
how
respond
they do it.
back. Right. God, maybe I should keep those a lot cleaner then. I should watch when I message you. Anyway, guys, we do the show every Tuesday. You cannot miss an episode because if you do, you have to go back and rewind it and listen to the podcast, all the episodes. So if you do miss it, give us a good rating because you went on the podcast app. Anything, we're everywhere. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Podcasts, Yahoo Podcasts. Wherever you get your podcast, you can hear the Captain's Log every Tuesday with Dr. Dollar and myself. I'm Captain Brian, CaptBrien on Instagram. And thanks for watching, guys. We will be back next week, and I'll be live this week. Matter of fact, I have, as a guest on my show, let's see, who do I have this week? Coming up, I have great. I have absolutely no one I can tell you who I have. But no, I do. I'm just kidding.
Surprise.
I have comedy on Thursday with Sinbad. How can you miss? Can't miss Sinbad on Thursday. And then on Friday, I got another great guest, a female fitness instructor.
Wow. So
check it out, guys. This is the Captain's Log. We're out. I'm in. Thanks for watching, man. All the way in Wakefield, Mass. We out, guys. See ya.